We're joined once again by our good friend Susan Hobbs for our awesome segment, Awesome Possibilities is what we're calling it these days, Susan. Dr. Jennifer Crow, a vet at Noah's Vet Clinics, and by Allison Parise, owner of Penny Lane, a dachshund. So cute.
She's a good girl. Yes,
so here's the deal. So we're talking today about something that's very common in most dogs, specifically dachshunds. It's called IVDD, right?
Intervertebral disc disease.
There you go.
What exactly is that?
Well, that's where the disc that is supposed to provide cushion in between the vertebrae ends up pushing up and pinching the spinal cord. And they can become partially paralyzed to completely paralyzed from that location and backwards.
And specifically, this happens often, as you said off camera, that the poster child for this usually is the dachshund breed, right?
Miss Penny really is one of the poster children, but that's because they have such a long back and short legs. And so just after the rib cage, there's a weak spot. There's less covering that spinal cord, and because of all the activity, they have a natural bending action back and forth right there. So they develop disease in those discs faster than others.
How prevalent is this?
Oh goodness, it can happen in any breed. Sometimes it is due to degeneration of the disc, just with age, and that starts to collapse and push up. Other times they do some activity that causes so much stress directly on that disc that it pops, and it becomes a very sudden event.
Did Penny go through this? And take me through your story.
Well, we had actually just adopted Penny. We had her a little under a month, and we started to notice that she started to wince a little bit when we'd go to pet her or try to pick her up. She would kind of back away, and she started yelping. And I used to work for a vet clinic, so I knew that was bad news with a dachshund. Right. So we immediately took her into the emergency vet and had her checked, and sure enough, she had a disc that was being squished, basically. And at that point, she still had sensation in her legs, so they put her on crate rest. We took her home for a weekend. She was in the crate nonstop, and 2 days later, she had gone completely down in her hindquarters. So we took her back, and she didn't have any deep pain sensation in her feet. So basically, they kind of pinch and squeeze, and she had no response. So they did surgery on her, and we went through a lot of physical rehab with her, several months worth. We'd take her over to West Lafayette to a rehab facility there, and did a lot of work with acupuncture and underwater treadmill. Right.
Well, there you go.
Yep. Okay. 8 years later, she's good.
8 years later, huh?
Yeah, she's a happy camper. She walks a little funny, but she doesn't care.
Doctor, less than a minute left. Treatment for this. We talked a little bit about it right here with Penny, but
cage rest for ones that still have some of their spinal functions. They lose function in a very step-by-step order. So when they cannot get up and move, it is time to go to the vet. Don't wait and see if it gets better. Some need surgery. We need to remove part of that vertebrae so that we can allow that pressure to decrease or even remove that disc. Others need some pain medications for the discomfort, but it is paramount to keep them confined. It feels awful, but if they injure themselves worse, it can be quite a bit worse for them.
I'm running out of time here, though. Susan, you have a little personal story, right?
Got a foster dog. He's a Chihuahua. Saturday night, perfectly fine. I went to get a drink of water. He followed me out. His back end is going one way, and his front feet were knuckling under. And I've never dealt with IVDD before, but it's terrifying to see an animal like that. He was confused. At that time, he didn't seem to be in pain, so I waited about an hour until it was obvious he was becoming painful. Trip to the emergency vet. He is now at a specialty vet having an MRI this afternoon. His hind end went completely out, and he does have deep pain sensation, and he's trying to stand.
Poor
so
guy.
we're hoping the best for Jose.
Right. We wish Jose well.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Ladies, thank you for being here. Penny, thank you for being here. More on IVDD at wishtv.com. For now, though, we'll send it over to Randy. Randy.